Rise of the Ronin was one of my most anticipated releases of this year. A mix of Dark Souls combat with the original Assassin's Creed's world design and stealth, set in feudal Japan, and developed by Team Ninja, developers of the Ninja Gaiden series. I was hooked from the trailers alone. So now is the time to answer the question: is this game worth the hype that I built up for it? And the answer is not really. Rise of the Ronin is a game that has a lot of good ideas and executes them all pretty well, but those ideas end up becoming very monotonous very quickly. Allow me to explain myself as we delve into Rise of the Ronin. You play as one of two siblings who are both Ronin. On one of your missions, your sibling is defeated by a mysterious figure. It is now your job to go out and find the man who killed your sibling and avenge their death. I'm overall not the biggest fan of open world games. I'll happily play them, but only if the world is interesting to explore, or if the way you traverse is interesting enough to keep my attention. The first 2 hours of this game had me hooked. The fast and fluid combat mixed with the satisfying stealth sections and tough-as-nails boss fights really tickled my brain in all the right ways. This is a modern video game, so of course you have a grappling hook, and it's fine. The trailer made it seem like a bigger deal than it actually is in-game, with it only being able to work at certain locations and on certain enemies. I was having a lot of fun sneaking through enemy bases and dealing with challenging foes for the first couple of hours of my playtime, but once you realize how shallow the gameplay actually is, then you end up getting bored after a while. The main positive I have is the game's visuals, which are stunning, with really interesting art direction and architecture. This game takes place in a time where the English were just starting to move into and trade with Japan. So the architecture of the world is a unique mixture of traditional Japanese and Old English. Setting this game during this time also makes the world more interesting than usual feudal Japan stories, with you being able to overhear the people around town having differing opinions on Japan opening its borders to other countries. Another thing that makes this setting so interesting is that this is when Japan had just gotten guns, which means that now third-person shooting is also included into the Souls-like combat. The glider is also something the trailers focused on, and I found that I enjoyed using the glider far more than the grappling hook, whether it just be for traveling great distances across the city, or to swoop in from above to catch a group of enemies off guard. Something else I should address is how this game has been compared heavily to Ghost of Tsushima. I personally have never played Ghost of Tsushima, but definitely can see where the comparisons come from, because if you just look at the two games, it's obvious that they're cut from the same cloth. Well, I mean, except for the fact that one has guns, but, you know. The common criticism I see is how Ghost of Tsushima is a way better game than this, which I can't really speak on, but if I had, maybe this review would be a lot more negative. The game also features a plethora of side missions, including some where you can choose between the warring factions of the Ronin and the Shogun, which is a cool concept, but it's not as memorable as it probably should be. As I said earlier, the gameplay is sharp and fluid, which is expected from Team Ninja, but I couldn't help but feel that it tends to get stale after a while, with main enemies not being much of a challenge to face off against, and harder enemies only appearing ever so often. The most fun I had with this game was when I was roaming from outpost to outpost and attempting to stealth all the ones I came across. But near the end of my playtime, I found myself hesitant to do any more main missions, or side missions, as all of them boiled down to doing the same thing over and over, as the repetitive gameplay loop started to sink in. In summary, Rise of the Ronin is a pretty bland game, and I would definitely recommend it if you're a fan of Assassin's Creed or Souls-likes, but if you are interested in this game, I'd recommend you wait for a sale, because the asking price of $70 is pretty steep. This game was pretty enjoyable, for a while, but isn't that suitable for long periods of playtime. Overall, I probably won't be returning to this game anytime soon, which is pretty disappointing. That's all I got for now. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and hit that bell icon to be notified for whenever I make a new video. The next video game review should be Pepper Grinder, but I also talk about TV shows and movies on this channel. So if you're interested in that, or interested in supporting the channel more, then go check those videos out. Okay, that's it. Bye.